Good morning and welcome to today's press conference, which is currently being streamed live on Komunitajiet Government Facebook page as well. Malta has joined its European peers in seeing an influx of digital nomads as remote working becomes more and more mainstream in the wake of the pandemic. In fact, Malta is one of the leading countries among other European member states to offer nomads a temporary stay permit, with the Nomad residence permit being launched in June 2021. Malta is not new to digital nomads, and there are already an established community of nomads hailing from various European countries. Gladly with me today, I welcome Parliamentary Secretary for Citizenship and Communities, Honourable Alex Muscat, responsible for the work carried out by Residenza Malta, one of the agencies that work to attract investment in relation to residency opportunities to our islands, and Mr. Charles Mitzi, who is the CEO of the Residenza Malta agency. Virtually, we'll also be having Mr. Daniel Goebel and Mr. Luca Arrigo joining us to share their first-hand experience on how such an initiative has been a great benefit to them as well. I would like to introduce Mr. Charles Mitzi as Residenza Malta CEO to present stats and figures pertaining to the Nomad residence permit and the key achievements of such an initiative up till today. Mr. Mitzi, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Parliament Secretary. Good afternoon, Glenn. I would like to share with you a couple of slides about the performance of the Nomad residence permit over the last 6 months. So to start with, countries have saw an influx of remote workers due to increased mobility. Obviously, the pandemic helped to increase even further and make remote working more mainstream and acceptable to employers. So the idea was for Malta to be among the EU countries that last year started offering visas and residence permits. In fact, we launched the Nomad residence permit in June 2021. Malta is not new to digital nomads, and there is already an established community of nomads hailing from EU countries. This can only be seen by the increased number of shared workspaces and co-living venues that are opening up and filling the needs of digital nomads communities locally. The residence permit wanted to extend the possibility of working remotely from Malta also to third country nationals. So basically the idea was to open the doors to third countries to join the already established community of EU nationals that are already working from Malta. Now I would like to give you an overview of the applications for the Nomad residence permit. To date, we received 180 applications, an average of one every working day. However, recently we've seen an increase, an influx of more applications that reached our offices, and today we are averaging more than one applications per day. We received also hundreds of inquiries, which we are hopeful that they will translate into applications at a later stage. It is obviously obvious that restrictions to movement because of COVID has impacted travel. As can be seen in the graph, the majority of applicants hail from the UK and US. This slide shows a breakdown of applicants by age. The average age of our applicants is 37 years old. Our applicants are male in their majority. The majority of applicants are employed, followed very closely by self-employed, and we have also a few freelancers. Most applicants work in IT, management, and marketing, but we also have applicants in other industries. Obviously, the common element between them is that they can all work remotely. The average income for our applicants is that of 60,000 euros. And overwhelmingly, applicants have a degree. As you can see, we are attracting quality nomads. This didn't come by coincidence. Obviously, the requirements we've set were specifically done so that we only attract quality applicants. In fact, the profile of applicants that we are explaining here shows that our strategy so far has worked. In fact, applicants must reach a gross annual income threshold of €2,700. The Nomad residence permit offers a temporary basis of stay for those that can work remotely using technology. Applicants should either be working for an employer that is registered abroad, conduct business activities for a company registered abroad, either as a partner of that same company or a shareholder, or offer freelance or consulting services to clients abroad. To be eligible, applicants must have a valid travel document, health insurance cover, provide proof of address, reach a gross monthly income threshold of €2,700, and pass a background verification check. When it comes to operations, the application process is very smooth and we are promising a 30-day response time at a nominal fee of €300. That is all from my side. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Mitzi, for such a detailed explanation. And now I would like to introduce Parliamentary Secretary for Citizenship and Communities, Honorable Alex Muscat, for his address.
Thanks. This government has always trust in responding to international trends, and with millions of people on the move worldwide and the increasingly popular trend to work remotely, we have sought to acknowledge this global development. It has already been 6 months now since the launch of our Nomad residence permit, which is aimed at attracting third country nationals to our shores. Malta is no stranger to economic migration. We have attracted hundreds of foreign nationals for well-established industries and for companies who opened their doors here in Malta, creating a large local expat community from countries all over Europe and from all over the world. The government, we sought to create a new economic niche post-pandemic that is gaining momentum and migration world. People are embracing a new way of working remotely, and Malta wanted to jump at this opportunity to welcome digital nomads from all over the world. And this is what we are actually doing. There is already a healthy community of digital nomads locally, like was explained. In fact, Residency Malta Nomad residence permit now extend this possibility also to international. In fact, today we have so far received 180 applications, which translates into, on average, an application per working day. The agency nonetheless received hundreds of other queries, which we are hopeful will also translate into new applications, also once travel restrictions are eased. There is a new migratory pathway for people on the move hailing from outside the EU. For people who want to experience working from another country while discovering its culture. For those who want to network with like-minded people in a new community. This initiative requires a relatively low effort from the government while reaping the benefits of the lifestyle that digital nomads lead. They rent apartments, they use Airbnbs, they use public transport and taxis and cabs, they eat, drink, spend money on their entertainment and restaurants, and explore also cultural sites and cultural events organized here in Malta. This niche also carries a low burden, as those given a permit need to be covered by a health insurance, so there is no burden on our national health services, and they need also to show proof of own accommodation. At the same time, the country is attracting new ideas, skills, and also talent, creating also the possibility for cross-fertilization of ideas amongst our communities here on the island. Digital nomads have a reputation of also being entrepreneurs, being mostly young, or at least young at heart, adventurous and willing to launch their ideas in new markets. Our story is still unfolding, and once the pandemic is over, the numbers can only grow. At the same time, we are after quality residents. We are also sure that our formally registered applicants are only part of the story, and that digital nomads locally far exceed these numbers that we have today. We are strongly increasing our marketing efforts to continue attracting more digital nomads to our islands. In merely 6 months, the Nomad Residence Permit has been a very successful initiative, and the numbers are very encouraging. We envisage that this will continue to increase, these numbers will continue to grow, and it will be a very important new niche market for our economy in the years to come. Thanks.
Honorable Muscat, thank you very much for your address. And now I would like to introduce the panel on the other side of the screen, Mr. Daniel Goebel and Mr. Luca Arrigo, to give us their views on this initiative. So, Daniel, welcome on board, first of all. You are the founder of the Digital Nomad Association Malta. Please do tell us about this association and how did it come about and what kind of work did you put into it up till now? Thank you.
So, first of all, thank you for having me. And I think you already gave a brilliant summary about what happened. And I just want to add my 2 cents here. So I came as a remote worker to Malta the first time 2015. And I wanted to work from Malta. But back then there was no infrastructure. Now we see so many co-working spaces, co-living spaces being opened. And then the pandemic came, and we saw that this topic of remote work is becoming really serious. Because until now, we always welcomed 100, 200 nomads to the Maltese Islands in 2017, 18, and 19. And then we saw, okay, this becomes bigger than one company. This is now a whole industry being created. So we started this Nomad Association as a non-profit to be basically the bridge between local companies, hospitality, accommodation, co-working spaces, and the needs of nomads, as well as the government. So this was the idea of the Malta Digital Nomad Association, to be the bridge and to mediate. Because I think what we see here is the same like what happened 20 years ago with language schools, or around 10 years ago with iGaming. And I see this also developing. It has the potential. And there are not a lot of that, there are no downsides to this. Because we already mentioned the people come for 1 month to 3 months. And usually we always had 50% Europeans from the European Union, mostly Polish, Germans, and French people and British people. And besides that, also Americans. And they, of course, need this visa. But until now, the Americans didn't start to travel. So I think this will start like this year. Yeah.
And Daniel, in your view, what are Malta's main attractions to the digital nomads?
Mm-hmm. I think, of course, sun. It's a big factor, but also a really healthy and friendly society, that the people here are so friendly and there is no stress. It's a really safe place, and I think those factors will become even more important in the future. So the society and also community for digital nomads, as we already have thousands of IT workers living in Malta, and the borders are fluent. So what is a nomad? What is not a nomad? The borders are sometimes a little bit fluent. So overall, it's just a great experience to be as a digital nomad in Malta. I mean, you have internet everywhere. It's really fast. You can have activities every day. There are yoga courses being offered. So this is what nomads are looking for. And since Malta is so small, the communities are not spread out. They are all centralized. So
You mentioned the sun, in fact. I guess you're looking forward to summer, right?
yes, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Lastly, Daniel, how important is community, that sense of community for nomads here in Malta?
I think community is everything, because if you enter a community of remote workers The magic happens when the young graduate who just finished university is sitting together with a 50-year-old entrepreneur and they exchange ideas. So this is where you find your business connections, your inspiration, because otherwise you feel lonely. If you would come as a remote worker to Malta, you look for other remote workers. So it's super, super, super important. And we also see that local investors are investing now into creating community buildings like co-livings, where remote workers can actually live together for a month or 3 months. So, and additionally to that, one thing I want to mention, last year, we had our Nomad meetups, often outside, and one point we had 160 nomads coming. So in one of the smallest countries in the world, we managed to have the biggest meetups in summer. So I think this is outstanding, and it shows that we are on the right track and the right path. Malta was also mentioned often the best nomad visa in this economic bloc. So this is also quite important. Often it ranks really, really high.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for your very interesting remarks, and I augure your great work and contribution to our Nomad community here in Malta. Thanks once again.
Thank you.
Luca, being an entrepreneur yourself and a member of this digital community, what are your experiences of Nomads here in Malta?
Yes, I think you all touched on excellent points, and I think all the nomads that I've worked with so far to assist them in any way for this permit have all remarked just how efficient residency Malta has been with handling their applications, something that people who have applied for visas across the world have not really experienced before. So that was something that was a very positive experience from the process of the Nomad residency itself. However, when I look at Malta as a country, we of course recognize that it's been home to nomads for hundreds of years, and now of course it's becoming a popular home for digital nomads. We already know that in Malta, there's a lot of expats. 1 in every 5 people is an expat. And this idea of global citizenship is pretty much ingrained in the country's language and also in our spirit. So that's definitely something that I think digital nomads find welcoming when they're here, and they also find it very interesting just how globalized Malta's whole history has been. I do also believe very, very strongly, and I felt it myself just by meeting digital nomads. It's a very inspiring experience to meet people who are innovators, people who think outside the box, and people who at the end of the day are really helping to build the future. And that having the opportunity to spend time with digital nomads, to learn from them as a person from Malta has been life-changing in a sense, and has also opened up a lot of doors and ideas for startups on the island. So that's a good way to sum up my experience so far.
Luca, just like we've heard, these are high-end people. They earn quite a high average. And how do you think that these people here in Malta aid the economy through the lifestyle and the consumption and their consumption patterns?
Yes. So as you mentioned, your residency Malta is targeting the high end of spectrum of digital nomads. And again, that's why the efficient service of residency Malta has proven invaluable, because people, of course, expect a higher level of service when they come from that niche. When it comes to the impact on Malta, I just have to reiterate that there's a very high concentration of digital nomads and entrepreneurs on the island. So for local entrepreneurs, being able to connect with these high level digital nomads, it's a very good way to accelerate the startup scene and the tech scene. And I think digital nomads are really contributing to helping Malta become a startup hub, as well as a nice place to enjoy community, sun, and that sort of thing.
And lastly, Luca, we mentioned the economy, the contribution of the digital nomads here in Malta. What are the other benefits that Nomads bring to Malta, for example, for the tourism sector, which is now a bit hit from the pandemic?
For sure. I do believe that having people who are living more long term as a tourism model is more sustainable both for local communities, and even it could be considered for environment, as you have less flights coming in and this sort of thing when people are staying long term. And when you look at the kind of the economics behind it, it's a more efficient way to create economic growth in the tourism sector without going crazy with the number of people that are arriving here, because people who are staying here for longer are of course spending more and contributing on the local level rather than just coming for a few days and leaving very quickly.
And Luca, lastly, for those people that are not that familiar with Nomads, how do they work? From where they work, they don't work from an office, for example. They could work from anywhere, from even
Yes.
outside, outdoors as well. Can you please
Yes,
explain
and
to
on
us?
that point, we've seen already a good increase in the number of co-living and co-working spaces. However, to the tourism industry in Malta, I do encourage them to continue to possibly pivot their business models away from the old tourism or the legacy tourism of Malta. And it would be very exciting to see established tourism players to start innovating and working together with the whole ecosystem that's been created in Malta to be able to host more digital nomads, because at the end of the day, they need not a very different, but a different kind of setup to a normal tourist. So it would be good to see the tourism industry pivoting more to accommodate digital nomads in their establishments.
And if not mistaken, I can go outside on the beach, for example, and I can work. Is that it?
Correct. I mean, it's become quite commonplace, I'm sure, to see people working from coffee shops and restaurants and this sort of thing. Of course, Malta, we're very lucky that 4G and 5G are being spread around the island. So it does, of course, give the opportunity to truly work from down by the beach if you so choose. So.
Luca, thank you very much, and also Daniel for joining us this morning in our discussion here today, and I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Parliamentary Secretary, Honorable Muscat, and even Mr. Mitzi for your contribution today. We will now open the floor for questions by the journalists. Julia Magri, Times of Malta.
Good morning. I have a question not relating to the press conference, but referring to a story we published earlier this month where Identity Malta, Minister Alex Muscat, which you are responsible for, is explicitly favouring Mosta in a tender for new offices. Mosta is part of your constituency. Why should your district get preferential treatment? Thank you.
Mela, grazzi tal-mistoqsija minkejja li m'għandix taqsam ma' suġġett tal-lum. L-ewwel qed nitkellmu fuq sejħa li għadha mhijiex magħluqa. Jiena infurmati li hemm iktar minn offerta waħda u hemm offerti minn irħula differenti. L-istrateġija ta' Identity Malta li hija waħda pubblika kienet ċara illi Identity Malta jrid ikollha uffiċċju reġjonali n-naħa ta' isfel ta' Malta dak fetaħ diġà u jrid ikollha uffiċċju ieħor in-naħa ta' fuq ta' Malta. L-iktar raħal illi għandu domanda għolja għas-servizzi ta' Identity Malta huwa il-Mosta u bekk il-Mosta huwa wieħed mill-kriterji fejn idealment ikun sitwat dan l-uffiċċju ġdid però mhux bil-fors. Tajjeb ngħid ukoll li dan it-tender ippubblikat mill-Dipartiment tal-Kuntratti u awtorizzat ukoll mid-Dipartiment tal-Kuntratti huwa tender li sa issa għadu ma ġiex magħluq. Grazzi.
Massimo Aksisa, Television Malta. Massimo Aksisa, tismana. Samuel Lucas, One News. Samuel Lucas, One News. Samira from the Malta Independent.
Hi, good afternoon. I have a question for the Parliamentary Secretary as well. The government had to publish new regulations on the citizenship scheme. Did this ease the Commission's concerns, and what is the current stage of the infringement proceedings?
Il-sallu ma tem diskussjoni għaddejja mal-Kummissjoni Ewropea. Aħna konna irċivejna ittra u kellna nirrispondu għalija, li ma ittra aħna konna, rispondejna għalija, wara l-ewwel ittra kien hemm it-tieni ittra u rġajna, rispondejna għalija. Sallu ma tem diskussjoni għaddejja mal-Kummissjoni, ġifieri ma hemm l-ebda deċiżjoni meħuda, jiena qed nipprospetta li diskussjonijiet maturi li għandna u ser ikollna mal-Kummissjoni Ewropea naslu fi qbil sabiex nżommu din in-niċċa ta' investiment u fl-istess ħin nagħtu serħan il-moħħ li hemm bżonn sabiex il-Kummissjoni Ewropea u l-bqija tal-pajjiżi Ewropej ikunu jafu eżattament kif qed noperaw.
Grazzi ħafna, intemmu hemmhekk il-konferenza tal-aħbarijiet li llum tħaddet dwar il-komunità ta' Nomads f'Malta. We thank once again to our speakers, both Daniel and Luca, for their contribution. Thank you very much, and we augure you well for your future endeavors, as we said. Have a good day. Thank you very much.